Computer running slow? Has your machine somehow acquired a life of its own? Or do you simply desire a deeper and more meaningful connection? Be one with your operating system. It's Arizona's computer guru, Mike Swanson, and his show starts now. Listen in, chat in, and watch live streaming at gurushow.com. Want your voice to be heard? Call in with your questions and riddles. The number is 520-790-2040. This is the Computer Guru Show on AM 1030, KVOI, The Voice.
Hello and welcome to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show. That's 520-790-2040. We'll give you your 1 hour of free tech support this week. Just call with any questions that you have. But we're going to be talking about some darkness today.
Yeah, some things that are going on that are really not great at all.
You know, every once in a while, you just have to have one of those shows where it's like, hey, guess what's happening? And you're not going to like it.
And you know what? We're actually not even really talking about encryption this time. That's part of it, but
tangential thing, right?
Not the encryption debate that we usually have.
Right.
Which is, you know, honestly, it's kind of sad because it's like, how many sides of this battle need to be fought?
Well, you know, it's being privacy as a whole online is being attacked all the time. And it's interesting because everybody thinks that it has a completely different set of rules than, well, it depends on which side of your argument is on. Some people think it should have the exact same set of rules that paper does, even though the internet is not paper. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But we're going to talk a lot about an FBI thing that's in search warrants and the Fourth Amendment and the rest of the world and how it pertains to the internet. And a lot of it's because of the Tor client. Now, if you don't know what the Tor client is, it's effectively an anonymizer. It's a piece of software that you put on your machine that routes all your traffic through basically a bunch of different peer client servers. And it encrypts everything from one end to the other, and it's kind of nice.
It allows you to browse the internet completely anonymously, as well as access sections of the internet that you couldn't normally access.
Right, it has its own set of places that you can go that are not accessible otherwise on the internet.
And now, historically, a lot of the stuff that Tor has been used for has been illegal. That's, you know, if you remember the whole Silk Road scandal that happened, that kind of stuff, the black markets that exist online. But that's not the only, you know, just like with any tool, that's not the only thing that it's used for.
Right. So the Silk Road thing was a marketplace, so to speak, where you could use Bitcoin to buy just about anything that you wanted or pay for any type of service that you wanted. There was a fairly highly publicized set of services that were available that made the news as far as, yeah, you could go and buy a hitman or
just drugs, you know, any drug pretty much.
So there was a lot of, and there's also a lot of like things like different types of pornography that are on there that are otherwise illegal in various places or all places that we know of.
Even stuff like fake IDs and passports, all kinds of stuff like that.
So yeah, I mean that's about as deep as we'll get into the dark web as this pertains to this particular subject. But there is, if you know where to look, there's anything that you can want to find on the internet. And part of it requires needing to know how to get into like the Tor network. And the Tor network was originally designed as a place where to have secure communication. It was initially developed as a way to secure the internet as we know it. And then of course all the nefariousness went there.
And if you've never heard of Tor or the dark web before this conversation, you might be inclined to agree with the FBI. But the thing is that, for every illegal transaction that takes place using Tor, thousands of people just use it to access Facebook because they don't want to be tracked by Facebook.
Right. And it's an anti-tracking client is really what it is. It allows you to remain encrypted and anonymous. And it's a good way to browse websites in other countries that you otherwise wouldn't be able to browse.
Yeah, because of region restrictions.
Right, region restrictions and all kinds of different things that are out there. Now, the FBI is basically going to make it so that, or the government is going to make it so the FBI will be able to obtain a search warrant for any computer anywhere in the world owned by a U.S. citizen or not, simply for the presence of Tor on their machine. So if they find the Tor client on your machine, it gives them an automatic search warrant.
And they don't have to know who you are or where you're located. They don't need to know any details about you except that your machine is running Tor, and then they can remotely access your machine and search it. This is what they're trying to do right now.
Which is kind of terrifying.
It's absolutely terrifying.
So this is one of those things where, it's like, where is the outrage, right? Where is, people are getting all upset because, one political candidate wants to build a wall and there's violence and outrage. But if you want to take away the right to privacy from every person on the planet through the means of technological expertise and make it legal simply because they have a piece of software that
isn't illegal in and of itself.
Right. The software isn't illegal. The software doesn't even constitute illegal behavior on your machine, right? Because there's lots of software that's not illegal, but the behavior of which could be or is almost always illegal.
Like torrenting software comes to mind.
Right, lots of torrenting software. But even that's not it's not enough, in my opinion, to say, well, that person's a criminal.
Especially when you consider that things like Tor or torrenting software are extremely useful for perfectly legal things.
Right. And so the idea that the U.S. government could just be like, hey, guess what? We get to hack your machine and legally just because you have a piece of software on your computer. And it would be, I think, no different than being able to hack your computer just because you have Chrome on it, as opposed to Internet Explorer, because the software itself isn't a tool for nefarious behavior.
It's just like any other tool. You can use a hammer to build a house or to kill someone. It's the same exact thing. The tool itself doesn't constitute illegal behavior. And I mean, all of the time, I have to say, I can honestly say every single time I've ever used Tor, of course, it hasn't been for anything illegal. It's been just to either check out the software or because I didn't want to be tracked by Facebook or something like that.
It's craziness to me that I mean, regardless of where you fall on the whole Snowden thing, right? Edward Snowden pointed out the fact that our government is doing some craziness when it comes to the internet. And it's true, right? Our government shouldn't be doing things that it is doing when it comes to the rights of U.S. citizens online, right? The federal government isn't supposed to be watching everything that we do online. And they use the excuse of, well, we're looking for terrorists, but have thus far found zero as a result of NSA, wiretapping and the PRISM project and all of this.
Yeah, I mean, if those projects had just led to the uncovering and capture of thousands of, domestic terrorists or something like that, I might feel differently.
Right.
But as of yet, there is no evidence to suggest that they've been used for anything other than what is essentially illegal wiretapping.
And it's lame. Let's go ahead and take a call here. Let's go ahead and talk to you, Philip. Hey, Philip, how are you?
Good morning. Yeah, I was put in the old days. It was a PC. You'd buy application software. It cost you $200. Now with a smartphone, I get everything off the internet for free. Anything practically I want. So I'm wondering, how is that possible, and how long can that last?
Give me an example.
Well, I go to Google Play. I download all these applications for Adobe Reader, music makers, music synthesizers, graphic editors. And then I get music. I get, iHeart. I listen to all the music all day long I want. I'm not paying for any of that stuff. All the information I want, whatever it is, usually pops up in, 1 or 2 pages. Put that into my files. I'm not paying for any of that stuff except for my phone connection service.
I think that we're kind of in the golden age of open source right now, and that's part of it. Because of how many programmers there are out there and developers, they can make money through other avenues than just having you outright buy the software.
Right. There's a rule in software that says that if you didn't buy the software, then you're being bought by the software. So, I mean, there's generally some type of an advertisement plan that's built into it. There's some type of revenue stream. And if you're not, if you didn't buy the software directly, then the software's buying you.
I also have a bit of curiosity that someone told me about. You know those old-time gigantic satellite dishes, the ones like flying saucers, the big ones, right?
Yeah, the ones that are like out back of the studio, right?
Well, they took some of those and they used them to pick up Wi-Fi from Phoenix and Sierra Vista.
No, that's possible.
So that's an interesting little, Ripley's believe it or not thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people do it with Pringles cans, right? Where you can take a Pringle can and modify a wireless access point or a wireless antenna so that you can send Wi-Fi miles.
It's like a directional antenna for Wi-Fi.
And it works. So, I mean, there's all kinds of do-it-yourself plans on the internet for, you want to make some long-range Wi-Fi? Here you go. Here are the plans. And the truth is that the 2.4 gigahertz range or the 5 gigahertz range, if you make a proper antenna, you can send that stuff a really long distance. There are $70 antennas you can buy on Newegg with a 2-kilometer range by default, built in. You don't even have to modify them. So there's plenty of really high-powered Wi-Fi accessories out there.
But sending isn't the same as receiving, though. Let's say you're trying to receive a weaker signal. What would you need for that?
Well, it's the same thing, right? As far as, you could get these high-powered antennas, and then your device wouldn't be able to talk back. But that's what the whole mesh network was built for. So you have a series of low-powered devices that all talk to each other over specific ranges, and then you can be anywhere within range of any one of those things and still have access.
Okay, one last related question. Have you ever heard of the device Go Antenna or GoTenna?
Not that I can recall, not by name anyway.
It's like a Bluetooth booster for your phone, so it's kind of like a multi-channel walkie-talkie.
Interesting. Don't know anything about it.
GoTenna.
All right, I'll check it out.
Thank you.
I appreciate the call. So let's take a moment to mention our sponsor. Our sponsor is Perfection Auto Works. Mike and his team over there will take great care of your car. Summer's coming up, as you know, this week, if you are in the local area. It got warm this week.
Yeah, it did. Real quick.
If you want to make sure that your vehicle is ready to deal with the insane amount of heat that we're going to have to deal with over the next few months, then you should go down there for your 26-point inspection. It's totally free.
Mention us.
And mention Computer Guru Show because, well, he helps pay the bills here. We'll be right back after these messages.
Whether you're dealing with hardware installation or, heaven forbid, a virus,
No!
Mike Swanson is answering all your questions one by one. So call in or chat in with yours. The website, gurushow.com. Tune in, click in, and kick back. This is the Computer Guru Show on AM 1030 KVOY The Voice. Mike Swanson, your computer guru, is just a click away. Listen and watch at gurushow.com. This is the Computer Guru Show.
Welcome back to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show. So we've been working with, or in talks with another sort of tech show in town to sort of team up with them in some ways. We're still working on some of the details, but it's entirely possible that that we'll actually be able to get the video streaming going like we wanted to, and fix a few things, I think, about the format of the show that we've been wanting to change for a while. So there's going to be some changes, and part of it is going to be getting the episodes of this show video produced. So there's going to be the YouTube side of the show, which we've been, only talking about for 3 years.
Yeah, and only really lately just kind of taking it seriously and getting started on it.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to do it here, but it was sort of shut down. There was because of the way that I wanted to install the cameras and stuff like that, some of the other shows were a little concerned that there would be cameras present in the room. And I thought, well, I mean, there's microphones in here. I don't know. You might want to like be careful about what you're saying all the time. But, never speak around a microphone, right?
Are you saying, Mike, that my conversations aren't entirely private in a radio studio?
Not entirely, no.
I'm outraged.
I'm outraged.
Triggered.
The NSA is listening. But we're also going to do some giveaways. And if you want to participate in the giveaways, if you want to get the things that we are giving away, you're going to have to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Because that's where we're going to pick the pool of winners from. There'll be some stuff where you can call in and participate. But most of the giveaways are going to focus around the YouTube channel. So you should go to our YouTube channel. You can go to it. You can get to it from gurushow.com and hit the subscribe button, because in the next couple of weeks we're going to be looking at giving some things away that are useful and will make your world happier.
Yeah, and we want to be able to do some cool stuff like that. But the reason why we can't tell you to just go to youtube.com/gurushow right now is because we need more subscribers
to
do that.
Have to have at least 100 subscribers for that to happen. And because we never really push that on the show, we should really be pushing that more on the show and on...
I would love to go into work on Monday and pull up our YouTube channel and like 1,000 of you guys subscribe to it. So go do that.
I mean, there's thousands of you listening. And all you got to do, go over to the YouTube and let's see what happens here. Let's see what Kent is trying to get to the YouTube. See, not there. You know why? Because we don't have 100 subscribers yet. So go to gurushow.com and then click.
Actually, you can put in the Computer Guru Show, and I think it should come up. We have thousands of listeners and singles of subscribers. So get on there. Yep, there we go. That's us.
See. So yeah, subscribe. Add to our list of subscriptions because we need 100. Right now we're at 38 now.
Yep, 38.
So
just a paltry amount.
I need, I don't know, about 900 more.
Yeah, Mike here pays me to build this channel and to put our videos up and stuff. So make him get his money's worth.
That's right, because Rob's overpriced.
It's true.
All right, so if you want to participate in this week's remaining half hour of tech support, give us a call, 520-790-2040. You
can even just call to talk about what we were talking about in the first segment, tell us what you think about Tor and the FBI.
Yeah, it's funny is that because the crowds that technology people hang in, all right, and then there's the other crowd of, what is the demographics that listen to this show?
Right.
We get a pretty interesting mix of opinions, which I love because I don't like the whole echo chamber thing. I want to hear the other side,
especially when it comes to something like Tor, because any of us who are on this side of the table, I can't imagine any of us being for the FBI being able to do this.
Right, and I'm, in my opinion, just because of the way that I behave when it comes to things like constitutional amendments.
Right.
It wouldn't matter to me if it was Tor or any other thing, right? Like, just because you bought a smoothie maker at Costco, we now have a reason to...
that's a warrant.
Yeah, that's a search warrant, man. Or we're allowed in your house just because of it.
You have a Belgian waffle maker.
Right.
Terrorist.
So there's... I disagree with the premise of, sort of automatic anything when it comes to the deterioration of rights. And I just, I don't know. I'm getting crankier as I get older. Yeah, and I'm just like, come on now, you don't want to do that. And that was where the encryption debate really came from for us too, right? Which is, I don't think you understand how this works. And it's sort of a common theme where, most of the complaints that I have when it comes to the government, it revolves around people that don't understand the technology, regulating the technology. And the way that it can be used and all of that. And it's just like you don't get it. You don't know how this works.
That's totally how it comes across to me. Every time I hear one of these laws, it just sounds like these people who don't understand it just scrambling to control it, even though they don't get it. They're just like, it's dangerous. Control it. Regulate it.
It's techism.
Make it illegal.
Techism. Yeah, they just don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for as much as we talk about encryption, but my phone's not encrypted. I don't have an encrypted drive on my computer. But that's not the point. It's not that I'm trying to hide anything. It's that I should have the right to privacy if I so choose.
Yep, because once you lose the choice, then we have a problem.
And I bet that, regardless of how the whole encryption thing shakes out, I can guarantee you that the high-ups in the government will have encrypted phones.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it wasn't there a big to-do about the president having a BlackBerry?
Mm-hmm.
Right, because they couldn't properly secure it?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, just having a BlackBerry is pretty sound encryption because I don't even know how to use one of those these days. Like, this has physical keys? What do?
How do I deal with these buttons? And what is this little trackball thing in the middle of it? Yeah, the BlackBerries are just weird. And I know that it's going to upset somebody. Right.
One guy out there is like, my BlackBerry's just fine.
Right.
How dare you, sir?
I have a customer, a set of customers, husband and wife team, and they're both BlackBerry. They're from Canada, so I think there's a certain amount of pride going on there because BlackBerry's Canadian. But they swear by those BlackBerries. They'll never switch off, even though BlackBerries aren't BlackBerries anymore. Right, because they're now Android powered.
Yeah, it's just a brand now.
Yeah. Oh.
I remember when, in the height of the BlackBerry day, though, some guy asked me, he's like, do you even have a BlackBerry? And he said it all like that. And I was like, what? No.
Like, if you don't have a BlackBerry, you're not even worth talking to.
Yeah, can't. It literally doesn't call anything except other BlackBerries.
You use Android, you're the scourge of the earth. All right, let's talk to Ray here. Hey, Ray, how are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Not bad.
Hey, got two questions. One question is I'm interested in what you guys were talking about, the Tor thing, and I was wondering if you guys could recommend places that I could go and learn more on the Internet. And the second question is related to the first. Once I start looking at that, will the FBI, NSA, or any of the other alphabet people start looking at me because I'm looking at that?
Well, that's potentially what's going to happen, and that's. I mean, there's no reason to think that just using Tor right now puts you on a watch list or anything like that. But the problem is that that's where it's headed. But if you just Google the Tor project, you can read up on it without having to actually use Tor or anything like that. And it's a very interesting subject.
Right, and there's a Wikipedia article, which, as far as I know, you're not going to end up on a watch list because of Wikipedia.
I don't know. There's things on there that teach you how to make bombs.
Yeah, so you can check it out and get some more information about it. And there's plenty of links. Of course, Wikipedia is very good at the whole link bit and sources. There's also the torproject.org, which is the official website for Tor. It's at the very least, it's worth knowing something about. Maybe.
Okay, so you guys say basically just check it out because knowledge is power, and without it, you're powerless.
Most people will probably have no reason or desire to use it, but if you don't know anything about it, it's an interesting subject because it exists solely to protect your privacy on the Internet, and that's a good thing.
All right, okay, that basically answers what I need to know about.
All right,
you guys have a great show. Thanks.
Thanks for the call, Ray. Appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back from the break, more callers at 790-2040, and we'll probably, lament about the state of the Internet today. Oh, depressing Computer Guru Show. We'll be right back.
Your computer guru, Mike Swanson, is here to help you tame that beast of a machine. Join the chat right now at gurushow.com or call in. This is the Computer Guru Show on KVOY, The Voice. Mike Swanson, your computer guru, is just a click away. Listen and watch at gurushow.com. This is the Computer Guru Show on KVOI, The Voice.
Welcome back to the Computer Guru Show. Rob, I have a question for you.
What's that?
How do we pronounce the plural of iPhone?
Do you mean like there's a bunch of iPhones over there?
Yeah, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
You're wrong. According to Apple.
What?
So, according to Apple, who apparently somebody was very upset over at Apple and took to Twitter to say that you do not pluralize Apple product names.
What do you mean? So I don't say there's a bunch of iPhones. I'm supposed to say there's a bunch of iPhone.
There's many iPhone over there.
What? Wasn't April Fool's last month?
Yeah, so, or the table is not covered with MacBooks. It is.
It is covered with MacBook?
It's covered with MacBook computers.
Where is this coming from?
What's the dude's name? Phil Schiller. He's the Apple's executive vice president of worldwide marketing.
Oh, so he's a shill for Apple. See what I did there?
He is. Yeah, you can't pluralize Apple products according to him. Now, what?
Maybe it's just me, but I'm pretty sure that as long as people are buying your products, they should be able to pronounce them however they want.
Yeah, he likens the words to deer and clothes, which are both singular and plural.
There's a bunch of deer over there. Maybe it's just because that's an established term, but just saying, look at that pile of iPhone. That just doesn't. No, it doesn't sound right.
Oh.
It sounds. You know what it sounds? Pretentious.
It would be proper to say, I have 3 Macintosh, rather than 3 Macs or Macintoshes.
Well, we need to alert the techs at the shop of this because they've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's called too much time on your hands.
All right, so first of all, where does Apple get off trying to give me grammar lessons when their slogan is think different?
Right? Well, apparently they're thinking pretty different. We need to have a customer who brings in like 2 Apple computers, and then they'll be like, I'm here to pick up my 2 Macs. And we'll be like, oh, we don't have 2 Macs.
Sorry, we only have 2 Mac.
We have 2 Mac. Are these your 2 Mac over here?
Think different, Apple. I want you to reflect on that and then get back to me. All right? Rather than think differently.
Well, you're just holding it wrong.
Yeah,
That's
Apple's got some pretty interesting ways of viewing the world. Antenna gate.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, back in the day when, and I don't know how many people remember this, but it was what, the 4s?
Yeah.
iPhone 4s?
Not the 4S. It was like the original iPhone 4.
Where there was some sort of, all right, it wasn't a design flaw where the antenna was placed in the case. It was you were holding it wrong.
If your antenna doesn't work, it's because you're holding the phone wrong.
Right. Let us send you a rubber band.
All of those iPhone didn't have defects, Mike.
Should we just not pluralize anything? All of those iPhone did not have defect?
Yeah, I think that's... I don't know. I want to see the world through Apple's lens one day.
Oh, man.
I wonder if they do that with their employees, too. They're like, we have 100 employee at Apple.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a call here. Hey, Al, how are you?
Hey, good. Listen, I wanted to comment on Apple's lack of grammatical knowledge. They say think different. Well, that's improper grammar. It should be think differently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who are they to talk about how to address their declining sales of a static product?
Well, if you think that they're wrong, you're just not thinking different enough.
Yeah, you must think.
Okay, well, that's my problem.
You got to think.
I went to public school, so I'm obviously not educated.
You got to think differenter.
Different, yeah.
More differenter, actually.
All right, that was my comment. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Love the
for
program. Bye.
Thanks for the call, Al. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, think more differenter. All right, let's talk to Ed. Hey, Ed, how are you?
Hey, Mike. First of all, I'm not going to take advice from a place that insists that their people are geniuses, but that Apple's a thing. Back on the Tor thing, how would you compare that to an anonymizer within the browser? I don't believe in the anonymizers on browsers. The private browsing options.
Well, all right, so let's break down the differences between the two.
That's an important distinction.
All right, so an anonymizer in a browser is basically cookieless. All right, it does not it prevents your computer from saving information about that particular session. And in some cases, it prevents the receiving website from getting extraneous information about your computer or you as the user. So, as an example, like an in-private window in Chrome, or I'm sorry, in Internet Explorer, or an incognito window in Chrome will generally not send your user information about your computer, any of that type of stuff to the other end. However, the other end already knows some things that cannot be hidden, like source IP address, like the browser type that you're using, and in some cases can still read super cookies. So the way that Tor works is that it routes your information through a multitude of routers that are all over the place. So it basically masks your IP address and the browser that you're using in many cases. It will also completely scrub any personalized information from the communication packets.
So what my opinion is correct, and that the incognito mode is mostly just to keep the things you don't want out of your search bar, or from your other people utilizing the computer to see that you've been.
And it also keeps a lot of information from making it to the other end. Right? If you want to have a more private experience, a less invasive or privacy sharing experience, the incognito windows or the private browsing sessions are good for doing that. However, the things like Tor are that on steroids.
It makes it to where in most cases even your ISP doesn't know your traffic.
Right. They can't tell what you're looking for or what type of traffic is being transmitted over that network because it's all encrypted packets.
Awesome. Thank you for the information.
No problem. Thanks for the call. Yeah, it's the Tor network is interesting. We've talked about the Onion project before, which is the other name for Tor network.
It sounds silly, but sites can actually end in .onion.
Right, and things that are Tor specific are whatever .onion.
Yep.
And they will be routed through the Tor network to get
and
there.
And that is the only way to see them.
Yep. So it's about privacy and security. I think every time that we talk about this stuff, because we had talked about the FBI or the government going after the Tor network before, and my initial response is, well, that just means that everybody needs to have Tor. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just, if they're going to go after a specific group, you just make that group so huge that it just becomes feasibly impossible. All right? Just can't do it. And so basically, everybody should have Tor then. Our governments. Okay, let's talk to Mark. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, I'm calling you. Well, if I have an iPhone, then it should be.
How many iPhones do you have?
If it's a single iPhone, shouldn't it be called iPhonus from Latin?
Well, you're also not. You're not supposed to say an iPhone. It's you have iPhone.
Right.
iPhonus, and then if I have more than one, it would be iPhony.
iPhony.
iPhony. All right. Well,
then,
I could go with that.
So if I'm accessing your computer, your website through the Tor, so that means you're now part of the whole.
That's still just you.
Oh, it's just me. Okay. Anyway, so I've got my daughter's Toshiba satellite laptop, a C55. Anyway.
Okay.
And her screen went black, and I took it got it from Best Buy, and it's only like 9 months old, and of course I didn't put a plan on it, so there's it's all my problem now.
No, it's not, because it's under warranty through Toshiba.
Oh, it is?
Manufacturer warranty.
Manufacturer warranty is a year.
Okay. So I can contact Toshiba directly then?
Yes.
All right. And then, but they're telling me anyway that it's probably a motherboard problem, because
depends.
When we put it into,
What does it do when you turn it on?
Nothing.
No lights at all on the machine?
Well, you can see the power button is lit.
All right. Is it blinking or solid?
It's solid.
Does it, when you plug in the charging cable, does the charging light come on?
I didn't particularly look at that.
Okay, so here's what you're going to look at. You can tell whether or not it's a board rather immediately.
All right.
From off. All right, machine has nothing on, no lights at all.
Okay.
All right, you plug in the power cord, you should get a charge light.
All right.
You hit the power button, the power light should come on, and then you should also get hard drive activity that is intermittent.
Okay, I wasn't hearing anything.
Right, you may not hear it, right?
Okay.
But what you're looking for is do the light state change on the machine. Now, also, after you let it sit for, let's say, turn it on, let it sit for 5 minutes.
All right.
There's a number lock and a caps lock key on the keyboard. Often there are lights that that go along with that, visible lights on the machine that you can see. If the state changes, right, you hit caps lock light comes on, you hit caps lock again, caps lock light goes off.
Okay.
Your board is not bad.
Oh, all right. Well, they plugged it into, external monitor like I was trying to do as well.
What are you doing going to Best Buy? They don't know anything. All right,
well,
hold on. In my opinion, many of the people at Best Buy have no clue what they're doing.
These opinions don't reflect those of the Computer Guru Show itself, but only Mike Swanson.
That's right. So it's got my legal stuff out of the way there.
Well, it was my daughter's in Cienega High School, and they all use laptops over there. And she took it to the tech people there, and they said it was a motherboard problem.
She needs a better education if she's going to Best Buy. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding.
They said take it back to Best Buy, see what they can do. So I can go back to the...
Just call Toshiba. They'll run you through some tests. And because it's under warranty, whether or not it's a motherboard or not...
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, right? They're just going to send you a new machine.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yep, that's why that warranty's there.
Yep.
And I thought I was, on my own.
You are not. Toshiba's got your back.
Okay. And so I want to say right here and now that your radio program is worth at least another laptop.
Well, then you should go to Patreon and subscribe, donate some money and subscribe to us on YouTube so that we can make some money on this.
Yeah, I'll be doing all that.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate the call.
And thanks for your show.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and fit the other one in. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's talk to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, doing great, Mike.
What can I do for you?
Hey, I got a question. I'm 3 for 3 now on upgrading the rest of our computers in the house to Windows 10.
Nice.
Last desktop one I did had, not really strange, but a couple strange things happened. I had not a bunch, but some programs that were unavailable showing after, meaning they didn't transform to Windows 10, which they were nothing important, so I just went and deleted them all from the app or add remove, whatever they call it in Windows 10.
Okay.
However, it's showing Chrome as unavailable. Now, Chrome works fine. I'm signed in. Everything's working fine. I was just curious if you had any thoughts on why that was happening. If I go to add remove, it says unavailable for Chrome.
That's interesting. I have no idea why that would be doing that. I haven't seen that, at least not with Chrome anyway. But there's some registry hacks that you can use to change the state of that, so it makes it so you can remove it. Also, there's some just cleanup tools you can use that will take care of most of that software that has problems. Personally, just because it's part of the upgrade process for Windows 10, I'd call Microsoft, and you get free support for anything that has anything to do with an upgrade.
Okay.
And they can help you with that part for free. Right? You just call up and they'll walk you through it, or they'll just log into your computer and do it for you. And that's nice and free because you know how much I like free.
Yes, me as well.
But there's also some registry info. You can just go in and tweak that. For everything that's in the add and remove programs list, there is a registry entry that tells the computer whether or not it's allowed to modify, remove, upgrade, install any of that type of software. And you can just go in there and change the registry entry. Hold on, disclaimer. You should not be in the registry unless that you are really confident that you know what you're doing and that you accept the risk that there is no save, no backup, no undo in the registry. You make a typo, you could potentially damage your machine to the point that it is unusable, and then you have to pay somebody like me to fix it.
Okay.
Now, disclaimer out of the way, registry is not all that terrible, right? You just got to be careful of what you hit. Stay away from the delete key, really, seriously. But you could get in there and change that. The other option is that you could just reinstall Chrome without removing the old one, which should fix that.
That's a good idea. I might try that first. The other interesting thing that happened, Mike, Windows Defender, I swear I pushed the download and install later choice, but it started going right when I hit it.
Nice.
So it installed it. I didn't, get a chance to uninstall the...
Well, Defender is built in regardless of whether or not you like it in 10. It is part of the operating system.
What is?
Defender.
Okay, but here's the interesting part. Security Essentials stayed on. I have the bright green house, and it's telling me that Windows Defender is turned off.
Right. Uninstall Security Essentials.
I can't. It won't let me.
Same thing?
I pressed to uninstall, and it says you don't need to, or something. Something to that effect.
I would love for it to say, you don't need to do that.
You don't need to do that. Just don't worry about it.
You don't know what you're doing. Don't click there.
Is it okay? It seems to be working, and I don't want to mess with stuff if I don't have to, I guess. But I was just curious why it would have Security Essentials on there and telling me Defender's off.
Well, Defender disables itself anytime it detects another antivirus. So that's why Defender's disabled, because it sees Security Essentials on your machine. And it should not. This is why I tell people during the Windows 10 upgrade process, uninstall your antivirus. Right? You do all that stuff before you do the upgrade, because the majority of the problems I've seen with the 10 upgrades have been related to antivirus that just loses its mind during the upgrade.
Right.
So
that was my plan to do that. It really was. And I thought I was downloading the Windows 10 and would install it at a later time, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are experiencing that. Microsoft is being a bit pushy about the upgrade. Your other option is to do a rollback, and then you could uninstall the software that's problematic and then rerun the upgrade. You have 30 days to roll back.
Okay.
So, good luck on that. We have to take a break.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate the call. And when we get back from the break, if you'd like to be part of the show, you can give us a call, 790-2040. We'll be right back.
Computer troubles? Need some advice? Call in now. Mike Swanson will be back after these messages. The Computer Guru Show, AM 1030, KVOY, The Voice. Your technology guru, Mike Swanson, is answering all your questions one by one.
Yes, science!
So chime in with yours. The website is gurushow.com. Tune in, click in, and kick back. This is the Computer Guru Show.
Let's take a moment to mention our sponsors once again. Desert Pro Commercial Cleaners is one of our Patreon sponsors. You too can get mentioned if you like. Go to gurushow.com/Patreon or patreon.com/gurushow. See, we try to make it, it's all symmetrical. It's all, you can find us at either location. But you can donate as little as $1 a month to help keep the show on the air, just because it's kind of expensive. So Desert Pro Commercial Cleaning, Tucson's best janitorial services. They don't cut corners, they clean them.
Including ours at Harrison.
Wow, you hear the party going on next door? Yeah.
It's crazy.
there's the neighbors that got the music up loud over there. What's going on?
They're excited about Desert Pro Commercial Cleaning.
I guess they are. The guitar riffs and everything. And then our other sponsor, our corporate sponsor, is you can visit their brand new website, right? They updated their website. In fact, hey, Ralph, over at Desert Pro Commercial Cleaning, you should talk to us about, maybe updating your website a little bit. But Desert Pro, TucsonDesertPro.com if you want to check out the current website, which hopefully he'll let us change at some point. That would be nice.
And make nice, yeah. Clean it up.
Or you can check out the new website that's over at PerfectionAutoWorks.com. Perfection Auto Works has graciously decided to help us keep the show on the air every week by giving us a little bit of money to pay some of the bills. So if you know anybody who would benefit from advertising on the show, let us know. They can come talk to us.
They don't even lean on us for content either. They're not like, you have to talk about this now.
No,
don't do that.
No, he doesn't do that.
But while you're at it and you're on the inner tubes doing things, you should go to the YouTubes and subscribe to us.
YouTube's plural, because we don't care what Apple says.
Yep.
It's not the YouTube. It's just
I got all excited because I thought that we'd have like 1 million subscribers now since we mentioned it earlier on the show. I went on there and we have 1 new subscriber, and I'm pretty sure that's Kent.
Yeah, so it's probably Kent.
Why aren't you guys subscribing? You're making me sad.
Yeah, subscribe. Don't make the guru cry. I'll cry on air. For the
he
rest
will.
of
He'll
the
do
show.
it, and it's not pretty. You want to hear that for an hour?
Yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Go to gurushow.com if you want an easy way to click to get there. Thank you very much for listening to the Computer Guru Show. Visit either of our locations, 510 East Fort Lowell or 64 North Harrison, or give us a call at 304-8300, or visit the website azcomputerguru.com.